Hi Gemini, this is your reading for April 2019. Thank you so much for clicking and watching this video. Please set aside anything that you're doing so that you're not multitasking while we're doing this reading. You'll get much more out of our time together if you just give all your presence here for this time. And while I'm shuffling, please take a moment to check in with your higher self and your guides. Ask them to check in with my higher self and my guides so that we can create a feedback loop to get relevant and clear messages that are tailored especially for you. Two aces upright straight away in the reading. Gemini, looks good so far. Three aces in your reading. All four aces are in your reading. This is a big month for you, Gemini, it would seem. Now, two out of the four aces that are in the reading are in the upright and the other two are in reverse. So at the heart of the reading you have the Ace of Wands crossed by the Six of Cups. Really beautiful. This is suggesting that at this time, I mean, simply the fact that you have all these aces energy here in the reading is definitely saying something that you are really at a very potent moment of beginning something new in your life, that you have a lot of potential that you've been building towards creating some kind of I'm hearing explosion, but it's more about the energy I'm feeling of like this sensation of something coming in with a bang with something new and really surprising yourself. That's the feeling I have. This is about surprising yourself and also surprising others as well, I feel. Now the crossing card that you have at the heart of the reading over this Ace of Wands here is the Six of Cups. Maybe there's something here about and there's a couple of other cards here in the reading, the Two of Cups in reverse, also the Page of Cups and the Knight of Cups, also both in reverse here in the reading. It does suggest that there could be some kind of challenging energy here for you with this new beginning around a love matter, a romance matter. And what I mean by that is that it feels to me like, and we'll go in deeper as we get along here with the reading, but I feel, my first reaction to seeing these cards in this configuration is that you're at this point in your life where you really want to burst onto the scene with something new. You want to completely rework your life and transform your life and come into people's awareness with something unexpected or different, or not. It's not even about it being for other people to see you, but it's more about like you wanting to kind of really express something kind of different and bring some visions and dreams and ideas that you've been cultivating for some time into a manifestation in the physical world in a way that makes it visible and evident to other people as well as to yourself. And all this cup card energy here, the Two of Cups, Six of Cups, Page of Cups and Knight of Cups, those are all in reverse, I might add, but you have the Ace of Cups crowning the reading in the upright position. But all of those other reverse cup cards there in the reading feels to me like there is some, let me just choose my words carefully here. There's also the Seven of Cups in the reading. I just noticed that. I didn't see that before. I'll come back to that because I don't feel like that's connected to what I'm trying to put together here. But all these cup cards here which are speaking about like romance or love or you know, like partnership in a kind of dedicated way. To me it feels like you're at this space where you'd rather put your energy into things that are more relevant to you as an individual, and that's why I'm seeing this crossing card here as the Six of Cups, feeling like an indicator to me that you may have offers or love interests around you at this time. There could be energy coming towards you in that way. But it feels to me more like you're rather disinterested in a way. You might entertain it briefly, but I feel like for a lot of the Gemini consciousness who may be watching this, there's a feeling here that at this time, like romance and flirtation and casual encounters may not necessarily be a priority for you at this time. I do feel like there's energy here around wanting to really generate and cultivate big shifts in your life that have an impact in a long-reaching way in terms of your career and in terms of your lifestyle. So I kind of covered a lot of what's here already, but I'm going to go into this quadrant here now. So the cards in this area of the reading represent how you see yourself at this time, or your energy at this time. And you have your Death with the Seven of Cups, which I think is a really interesting pairing. How I'm interpreting this is that, as I said, you're really wanting to come out of a cycle of life that you've been in, and transmute and transform a lot of energy into something completely different in the world. But what I'm feeling with this is that it's not something different to you, because you've been building up towards this experience for some of you for many years. Like, you've been cultivating different practices and working towards ideas and visions that you've been, you know, processing and fine-tuning for some time. But this is more about how I'm seeing this particular pairing of cards here. It's more about the outside world seeing you in a way that they didn't expect, but it's not a surprise to you because you've been working on it for a long time. And the Seven of Cups here with Death, I feel that there is a transformation happening at a fundamental level where you may be coming out of a period of, I'm hearing, occlusion or seclusion or confusion. There's three words there: occlusion, seclusion, and confusion. So this may be a time where the final whispers of any kind of confusion or lack of clarity around what you're going to do and how you're going to do it is sort of being evaporated and dissolved, and out of that cloudiness and that kind of uncertainty, there is a clarity that's opening up, and you're kind of stepping through with some kind of like sweeping clarification or movement of energy towards alchemizing ideas that are now crystallizing into something more fruitful and more real in the tangible world. Now, this again, Page of Cups at the foundation in reverse, and then Knight of Cups in this position in reverse as well with the Ace of Swords. So these two Court Cup cards in reverse with the Ace of Swords in reverse in this in here as well. As I said, I feel like there's some for some of you, as I mentioned earlier, there could be this element of having love offers or romantic offers coming towards you, and you maybe not feeling quite so interested in entertaining those at this time. Maybe you'll have some kind of short fun, but I feel like at the moment there isn't this feeling of like wanting to pursue a relationship in a more kind of serious way. It does feel to me, with all the other cards given here, that the emphasis is much more on a determination for you to reinvent. That's a lot of the energy here with all these aces feels to me like a reinvention, a reconfiguration. And yeah, this Page and Knight of Cups in reverse here regarding unfulfilling love offers or disinteresting love offers for you, and with the Ace of Swords as well, that does feel like, again, like you might have played out something, or you might be playing out something now that's at the early stage, or that's kind of something light and flirtatious and like not too embedded in anything, not entrenched yet. I feel like that may just play out and kind of play itself out in a short time and be over, and then your energy will be much more like, look, you've got this King of Swords here holding the sword, the Ace of Swords, which in this position here is in reverse. Here you're holding that same sword in the upright position with a more determined, focused, like kind of almost stoic clarity, kind of really with vision towards the future. Now this Ace of Pentacles here in reverse, I feel that this is just a gentle kind of nod towards, like, maybe there is, even though there's a lot of this determined energy, I feel you have strength as well here with the King of Swords upright. Like, there's a lot of determination here, there's a lot of courage, there's a lot of, I feel, visionary energy with the King of Swords here, and the strength is like an uprising of determination and courage and foresight. Like, you're using foresight at this time, and potentially this Ace of Pentacles in reverse could be indicating that you might be afraid that you're not sure where your resources are going to come from, because you have I feel like some of you have a really big idea that you want to pursue, and you may not be sure where the resources, where the money's going to come from, where the finances are going to come from to actually pull this off. But this could also be on a kind of metaphysical level, some uncertainty or insecurity within you, again, about the same thing. Like whether it's actually physical resources or your own, how do I say that? Your own just confidence, I guess. Your own clarity and confidence of your ability to actually, you know, manifest and execute your idea. It's just there. You know, it's just there. I don't know if I need to tell you anything else about that or what to do with it. It's just there. And then I like this combination at the top of the reading here. You have the Ace of Cups upright with the Two of Cups in reverse. Again, this Ace of Cups card feels like, as a crowning card, this card is kind of indicating to me that this the energy that you're kind of sustaining or holding at the moment is it's one that's very like uplifted. It's very there's a lot of creativity that's brimming forth, and over like your cup runneth over with creativity and ideas and concepts that you really see with a lot of passion, like fruitfully driving forward and executing in a very like. There's something here about service for sure. Like I feel like this Ace of Cups at the crowning card position of the reading is indicating there is something here about a creative venture or some kind of project or ideas that you're working forward with that has a very like consciousness mentality, like community oriented, service oriented, people oriented. It's bigger than you. And again, with the star here as well, I feel that as well. There's something about a project that you're interested in moving forward with that has a lot of vision, a lot of futuristic kind of like thoughtful consideration towards the needs and wants of people. It has a lot of creativity in it. There's fun there. There's playfulness. There's you kind of taking this role of facilitating for other people. In doing so, there's like an element of healing energy in it. Doesn't necessarily have to be as cut and dry as like some kind of like actual like physical or emotional healing work, but it's something more like, you know, community oriented for the greater whole, something that benefits more people. Yeah, someone was just at the door there, so I had to go and answer. So something that's more community oriented, something for the greater whole, as I was saying, something that is oriented towards providing services for larger groups of people rather than just something that's focused on what you can get out of something. And then, yeah, finally, there's Two of Cups in the reverse position at the outcome with this Page of Swords. Page of Swords is in reverse here. This could be something around potentially if you were looking to do some kind of collaborative thing. Like I feel there could be something here around if there was an offer on the table with someone else to collaborate, that you may find that may not actually end up playing out. With the Page of Swords here in reverse, it could be that communication comes in, that you discover maybe this person isn't the most ideal partnership or something along those lines. It doesn't have to be necessarily a negative thing. It just may be that, you know, plans changed or resources weren't available or something like that. It doesn't have to mean that this person is not a good person or not trustworthy, but there is something there around, you know, communication with regards to some kind of partnership and it being not eventually living up to the original offer, which is what these two cup cards could be about as well. At the bottom of the deck, we have the Four of Wands, Queen of Swords, Ten of Wands in reverse, and the Justice card here. For some of you, if this is a relationship reading, we might be looking here at potentially a separation or a divorce. That could be what this justice card is. Now that I'm seeing these four cards here, and you have the marriage card here, and this Two of Cups in reverse with this Six of Cups, you know, and death, and the Ten of Wands reverse. It definitely could be an indicator here for some of you that there could be a separation or a divorce coming around this time, happening around this time. And there could be some, you know, legal matters to deal with regard to that. For others, there could be something here with regard to, again, if there was a collaborative project, this could indicate that you may be, either way, it could be that you're moving forward with the collaboration, and that there would be contracts involved with regard to kind of clarifying each person's role and solidifying what each person is responsible for. I feel that the Queen of Swords here with these extended cards is offering a very beneficial energy of like righteousness and truthfulness and honesty. It's now, you know, have this king and queen of swords in the upright position as well. So there is this energy here of like a collaboration that could be very mutually beneficial, or very what's the word, like a good alignment. I know I said that there could be here with this card, with this Two of Cups in reverse and this Page of Swords in reverse. It could be that something that you were moving forward with doesn't work out. So this could be like someone new coming in that is a little bit more in alignment with who you are, and a much better match and a much better alignment for sharing resources and ideas. That could be what this Queen of Swords is here with the King of Swords. But mostly I felt like her energy coming into this extended card reading was more about like clarifying agreements and bringing like a righteousness and a truthfulness and an honesty and a clarity to a potential collaboration there. So I feel that for the most part, that's your general reading, Gemini. I'm just going to check over, make sure there's nothing else here to add. I'm going to take the Voyager deck now and give you a higher octave reading. So again, focus your energy in with me while I shuffle, and send your energy over into the deck so I can get really clear messages for you. The higher octave reading is designed to provide a little more insight into what's happening on a karmic and spiritual level, and will hopefully also be able to kind of provide some guidance and indication of how to best work with the energies that are available to us to make the most of the opportunities that we are facing. Two sixes, two sages, three sages now in the reading. So in the Voyager deck, the way the court cards are set out, you have the child, the woman, the man, and the sage, which corresponds in the Rider-Waite deck or in other tarot decks to the page, the knight, the queen, and the king. So there's more of an emphasis on gender neutrality, and it's more about like the archetypal energies of what they hold. So the sage represents someone who has mastered that element. It's someone who's reached the epitome of mastery over that element. So in this reading here, you have, there's one more card I need. You have the Sage of Wands crowning the reading. You have the Sage of Cups at the foundation of the reading, and you have the Sage of Worlds here as well. So in the first reading you had four aces. In this reading you have three of the sages. So it does kind of feel like there is some, again, big energy happening. This reading, as I said, is focused a little bit more on the spiritual component of what the energies are that you're dealing with, whereas the general reading is a little bit more about the mundane day-to-day, how things are playing out. So I do feel that what's going on, and you do have the Lovers showing up in this reading in the reverse position, alongside of the Justice card, which in this deck is called Balance, and both of these cards are in reverse in this reading. So it does feel like for some of you there is a reiteration of a point over there potentially being a separation or a divorce playing out at this time. It could be that doesn't necessarily have to be about a marriage or a partnership. This could be about some kind of business partnership dissolving, or you know, two people who have been collaborating together or working together closely may decide that it's time to move on, or either they've decided to move on because they're not seeing eye to eye, or the workflow is not as conducive to everyone's creativity and pleasure as it was before. Or it could be that the project is finished and everyone's just ready to move on. Now, you also have three sixes in your reading, I just noticed. So you had the first two cards that went down were the Six of Cups in reverse crossed by the Six of Crystals. Now the Six of Cups in this deck is called Sorrow, and the Six of Crystals is called Confusion. So these two cards being at the heart of the reading, I do feel that and the Lovers is also numbered 6 from the Major Arcana, and here you have also the Six of Worlds in reverse. So all of the four sixes that are represented here are all in the reverse position. And you had Six of Cups in the previous reading as the crossing card here. So there's an emphasis here around the six. So I'm gonna go into this a little bit because it's obviously significant since it's coming up so many times in your reading. What I feel is here, Six of Cups and Six of Crystals. I would have to say I feel that the energy here is describing something where it's like a reminder or an indicator that there is a really big need at this time to specifically focus on harmonizing your own energy. What I'm feeling is like it's a scattered feeling of like there's too many choices at play. There's too many options on the table. There may be too many things that you're involved with, too many projects that you have on the go, or too many threads of possibility. And the message I'm getting here, or the feeling I'm getting, the indication and the energy is that you need to kind of like, it's the beneficial energy of limitation, right? When you have too many options, there's so much choice. You can make you can make anything. You can do anything, right? But in order to actually really physically manifest something and create something, you need to limit your options down and make a choice. If you have too many choices, it's easy to get lost and it's easy to get distracted, and it's much harder to actually channel enough energy into something to make it successful. So the feeling I'm getting here is that it's about limiting your options and narrowing things down so that you can actually focus on something that actually has possibility, real possibility. And it's about, I think, eliminating some of the options that are existing in the fantasy. So here you have the Five of Wands upright with the Ten of Crystals in reverse. And these two cards, Ten of Crystals is called delusion and Five of Wands is called oppression. So I'm feeling with these two cards here in the outcome position that it is sort of feeling like, again, eliminating some of the options that may actually just be existing in the fantasy, and setting aside things that are, you may be using up too much of your mental real estate on ideas that are actually not ever going to go anywhere. And so to say that it's not fun to be imaginative and thoughtful and creative and visionary, but when it actually comes time to putting your energy into something that you really want to pull off, you have to eliminate some options so that you can actually give yourself a chance to put energy into something that you can really execute and be successful at. And here you have the Ten of Worlds and the Two of Crystals. Ten of Worlds is called reward and Two of Crystals is called equanimity. So this kind of just describes what I was sort of just talking about. The Ten of Pentacles there is the card of like physical success, abundance, wealth, success, like in the physical realm. And this Two of Crystals here is about, I think, making a choice. So like I was just saying, it's like narrowing down the options to actually choose something that you can really put energy in and really dedicate to make it happen, to make it work, to be really successful at it. Now, what else is here? I feel that this Sage of, let's talk about these sages here. So you have the Sage of Cups and the Sage of Wands, both in the reading, both in reverse. One is the crowning and one is the foundation. These cards also represent what's in the conscious mind and what's in the unconscious mind. And it's just interesting that they're laying on this axis here, one above the other. One is really fiery and masculine, and one is very watery and feminine. And they're existing in those positions corresponding to each other, right? Given that they're both here in reverse, I feel that the message here is that I'm hearing overcomplicated. So that could relate to what I was just talking about earlier too, with regards to, having so many options and having a lot of choices and being very imaginative and very kind of free form, running wild with ideas and inspiration. That could be an element at play here where the energy doesn't have a chance to actually channel into something because it's overcomplicated by so many options. So that could be something here. Now, the crowning card here being called Seer, and it being in reverse position, I feel that the message here is to really clarify the vision. Like really clarify the vision, really hone and refine what it is that you want to channel energy towards, and start to eliminate things that are excess or unnecessary or unnecessarily complicated or what's the word? Just work on focus on what's actually primary. That's the word I'm getting here, is primary. What's primary? Everything else that's secondary should be set aside for now. And don't give it unnecessary energy, because it's a waste. It's wasteful. It's wasteful. That's what I feel, this Sage of Cups at the foundation in reverse. This card is called Regenerator. And I feel like there's something here about this card being in reverse position, which is describing something which is excessive and wasteful. And it's taking you further away from your goal. So definitely the cliche kind of catchphrase of less is more is very applicable here for you at this time. So it's about, I guess this reading is very different from the first reading, and that's kind of unusual here for me on my readings. Usually the higher octave readings are an extension, but this almost feels like a completely different reading in some regards. But the main message I feel that's here is to really hone in, fine-tune, eliminate, address what's excessive and over the top and unnecessary, and limit yourself to really focus on the things that are actually really in alignment with the vision that you're working on. Let's see what's at the bottom of the deck. Man of Cups upright, Death again is here, Eight of Cups in reverse, and the Star in reverse. So you had Death and Star in the previous readings. It's interesting to see them come out here again. I feel like the context is very different though. What is here? I feel that this is again about, like, I'm hearing transition. So there's something here about like elimination. I feel like this Eight of Cups is about elimination. It's called stagnation in this deck, but it's in reverse here. I feel that there's a need to overcome. I'm hearing hoarding, and it doesn't have to be about physical objects here. This could be about you hoarding ideas and concepts and visions and concepts and things, that projects, ideas that you've had for a long time. I feel like you're hoarding onto things, and you're holding onto too many ideas because they're all good, and they're all good. But if you actually want to make something work, if you want to be successful at anything, you need to eliminate a bunch of stuff and just focus on one or maybe two things that really have your interest, that you can really dedicate a lot of time to actually create something of value, something successful, something useful, something beautiful. I think the Star in reverse here is also kind of tied into this Sage of Wands in reverse, where I feel like your capacity to visualize and dream up and create, like actually create through the imagination, is a little bit crippled by there being just overactivity. It's about reining it in, refinement, applying some limitation, like a little discipline. That's what this Ten of Wands is now. I'm just getting, like, you've got to put some stuff down in order for something to really work. There's too many ideas on the table. You need to eliminate some things and really focus on things that are actually the most interesting, and shelve the other stuff for now. You can come back to it at another time, like once you've actually really done this, the one that's the most important, the one that's the most the most interesting. Dedicate a practice of really disciplining the mind and the imagination into less is more kind of mentality when it comes to, like, I'm hearing the word obfuscate. I don't know what it means, so I'm going to look it up. I hope I can spell it. Obfuscate. Render obscure, unclear, or unintelligible. I feel that what this means is there's too much going on, so it becomes unintelligible. That's what I feel. Something feels like it becomes confused. That's what it means here. Look, verb, mere realizations, to obfuscate rather than clarify the real issue, to obscure, confuse, make unclear, blur, muddle, complicate, overcomplicate. That's what I'm talking about here. There's too much complication because there's too many options, too much choice. It becomes muddy and clouded because there is a need for clarity by elimination. Okay. Yeah, obfuscation is the obscuring of the intended meaning of communication by making the message difficult to understand, usually with confusing and ambiguous language. Yeah, time to really hone in and clarify, refine, and narrow things down to something that's clear and easy to understand, not just for you, but for others, because I feel like if you're working on a project with other people, you need to make sure everyone's on the same page with you. So learning to really hone in and clarify on communication and language and a style of sharing a vision or a dream with other people so they can actually be on the same page with you in order for it to happen. That's what's important now. Refine communication, eliminate and declutter, demystify, declutter, clarify, refine. I feel like that's your reading, Gemini. I'm going to leave it there for now. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate your time. It's an honor and a pleasure to read for you. Do watch that again, perhaps now and again at the end of the month. You might find that giving this reading a review after events have unfolded, you might gain more clarity over the situation. Hit the notification bell if you'd like to know when your readings are being uploaded. And have a great April. I'll see you next month's reading.